Sahil, talking about retaining employees and rate of attrition, like that is a huge challenge for any HR, I would believe, and especially when you were talking about this, the new students, like the millennials, they have their very different aspirations in life. Like their life goals are very different from the traditional uh, life goals that were there in the employees, which had a pattern of reward and recognition, which would connect to professional goals. But then for these millennials who are very suggest are techniques to motivate them.
Sure. So I think so you had a patchy network. I lost you slightly
Yes.
in between, but let me quickly pick up three aspects of your question. The first aspect, of course, is it's not the sole responsibility of HR, right? Imagine if you're working with your boss who is in business day in and day out, and of course, HR is expected to know what's happening, be connected with the business, know the pulse of the floor. But if I am leaving because of my boss in business, tell me honestly, how much can HR do about it? Because people don't leave organizations, they leave bosses. So I
Absolutely.
think it's a shared responsibility between business and HR. That's point number one. Point number two, coming to your whole point before I get to millennials, I think it's the mindset. And when I say mindset, what am I referring to? Do we really treat our team members like a pair of hands, or do we treat them like humans with a heart, mind, body, and soul? If you treat our team members like a pair of hands, you will always have a transactional relationship with them. हाँ ये काम हुआ, अच्छा ये हो गया, क्या पेंडिंग है, कितना हो गया, अच्छा ये क्यों नहीं हुआ, और मेरे को एक्सकेलेट करना चाहिए था, तक 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 तक. That's a transactional relationship. And trust me, if you think others don't get it, of course they get it. Okay? But if you treat someone like a holistic human being to say, hey, I know you joined in 5 minutes late for the morning meeting. I know that you know how important that meeting was. But what happened? Was there a connectivity issue? Was there an internet issue? Did you have something back home that held you back? Automatically, the person knows that you're caring for the individual. As compared to saying, you know how important this meeting was? Why didn't you connect? You knew you have connectivity issues. Why didn't you log in 15 minutes earlier? You see the difference? And that is when retention begins. Because then people work for people, and people necessarily work with people and not just for people. And then you also have the extreme category of people who saying, like Brita mentioned earlier, Ji Huzur. You tell them to jump from the 10th floor, they will jump with no questions asked. You tell them to sign on a paper, they will sign on a paper with no questions asked. Why? Because it's like a family. Many people say that, oh, I welcome this family member to the family when they send announcements in their organization. But do you really treat people like family? Because when you treat people like family, and I don't necessarily mean to say you need to be goody goody all the time. In families also we have disagreements. In families also we have fights. In families also we have different points of view. But a family is a family is a family. Okay, that's the second part to dealing with retention and the mindset around, do you treat people as people? Do you know what's happening in their house? What are their children's names? Which school do they go to? What admission issues do they have? And going beyond just work, right? And the third piece is on millennials. I think I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek. I like the way he really puts stuff out on millennials in terms of instant gratification, here and now, different kinds of rewards, different motivators, different factors. Um, and I firmly believe that one size doesn't fit all. And therefore, going back to the point that I mentioned earlier, the whole concept of adaptability to say what will make a millennial happy or tick will be very different from what will make a Gen X or a Gen Y tick. And therefore, a couple of things that work very well with millennials is, if you like something, if you like the work they've done, say it here and now. Don't wait for a monthly reward program or a quarterly reward program to say, let me think which is a good award to give, but I need to look at other people's performance, so on and so forth. Of course, maintain parity, but ensure that you do it in the moment. Ensure that you personalize it. If you do a very generic thing, it's not going to work. So personalization, in fact, I would say hyper personalization if you can, which is essentially the whole bouquet of awards that we talk about. If I know that Sahil is someone who loves kayaking, can I really gift him a coupon of saying, okay, Sahil, I know I've seen you on social media. You put up pictures of going kayaking, or you love going for golf. Here is the next 5 sessions of golf from our side, right? I think that makes a lot of difference as compared to say, ye le, 2000 rupees ka Amazon voucher, kuch khareed le. Yeah. So that's the whole concept of personalization here and now. And most importantly, can you really, with millennials, show them stuff that they can't see and enable them to achieve it? Because no bigger pride or sense of satisfaction and reward by challenging people on their strengths and taking them to a better place by helping them become a better version of themselves.